All right. Welcome, everybody. This is going to be a bit of a different video than what you can usually find on this channel. Well, you can actually hear me speak, so you know this is not going to be a raw, unedited dungeon run, but something, something different, right? Uh, since this is a channel about documenting my progression as a player, uh, I figured I could also use this space to share some of my thoughts and learnings on, things what I've discovered, maybe share some of my opinions, and who knows, maybe you're watching this having a similar dilemma to what I had, and this opinion is going to help you out. So, uh, let's get to it. Now, just keep in mind, I don't consider myself a high-end player. I'm someone mostly raiding in a casual guild and doing keys in the 16 to 17 range, so there's that disclaimer to my opinion. Now, what I wanted to talk about obviously are the two hero trees that we have in 12.0.5, being Lightsmith and Herald. Just wanted to share some of my thoughts regarding both of these specs, the differences between them, and what I'm going to play myself moving forward. If you're here for a TLDR, at the moment for Raid, you want to play Herald for max throughput, and for keys, both of the hero trees are fine. They just play a bit differently. You will find plus 19 and plus 20 keys being timed on both of the hero talents, and you can play what you prefer. Just need to adjust a few things between the specs, and keep in mind that Herald feels more reactive to play, while Lightsmith requires a bit more pre-planning and a bit more proactive play. So, now, for a more detailed breakdown, we can start off with Herald of the Sun. This is a bit feely crafty, but I suspect the buffs we got to Holy Shock and to our spenders just feel more impactful in this tree because of all the support that's baked in this hero talent, right? We have things like Gleaming Rays, Blessing of Anshe, right? Second Sunrise, all of these nodes, Eternal Flame, obviously, right? So, on top of buffing Holy Shock, all of these things amplify it even more, right? Same, of course, for Eternal Flame. Now, on top of that, you also have your tier set, which is just like yet another modifier to your Holy Shock. So that, combined with the fact that you play with Divine Toll, together just forms a package where playing around your core abilities feels much smoother. Playing as Herald, once the damage happens, it's much easier to simply bring the health bars back up. Not to mention, we also get this extra 5% haste from the tree, which, especially early on in the expansion, makes the spec feel much smoother, much nicer to play. That's why I feel Herald is a bit more reactive, because just by executing your healing priority, it is much easier to recover after damage events occur. And this is why we can talk about the, kind of like more reactive playstyle of this spec. Now, Lightsmith, on the other hand, sacrifices some of that healing in exchange for additional utility and defensiveness, right? Obviously, you have your armaments, especially your Holy Bulwark, that can do a lot of work in the tank healing department, but it can also serve as an additional layer of safety for a DPS that gets thrown a debuff at them. Say on Amber Dawn in Windrunner Spire, you can use the shield on a DPS player to give them a defensive buffer to, survive the mechanic. And if you hit the jackpot and you also get the second debuff, well, thanks to Solidarity, you now have 2 players covered with this potentially deadly mechanic. Apart from that aspect, you also have this node with things like Tempered in Battle, which sometimes can kill you, but can also serve as a mini Spirit Link to like protect a squishy DPS player. Or you also have this one, which is something I personally love running with, this shorter Dispel cooldown from Authoritative Rebuke. Just makes it much more easy to handle some of the dangerous pulls and, well, again, Windrunners, Nexus Point, all those places where you have multiple dispels that need to be covered. Also, this is a build taken from the Wowhead guide, written by Clarius. Shout out to him. Some cool tech that he proposes is running Tyrion's Devotion, which combined with laying down arms shortens the cooldown on lay on hands to around 3 minutes, giving you, well, yet another tool to plan out and use as you go along the dungeon. So the reason why I say Lightsmith feels more proactive is because to get the most value out of your kit, you kind of need to think of a lot of these tools before the damage happens rather than after, right? If you're throwing a bulwark, it's better to throw it on a tank as he's gathering the pack, or before the pull kind of ramps up. Again, same for the DPS example I've mentioned earlier. If you're playing with this lay on hands, this is again like you're trying to dedicate that lay on hands to that pull. So it kind of doubles down on the aspect of Holy Paladin in dungeons, where historically playing the spec was always about planning ahead and deciding which resources you want to spend with each pull. And, I think Lightsmith kind of plays quite nicely with that fantasy. However, moving forward, my decision, whereas of what I'm going to play, will be to play Heralds in more challenging encounters. However, I will continue to try out Lightsmith in my own resilient keys. So the reason behind that is, as someone who is primarily pugging, my personal biggest obstacle in timing keys is not passing the healing checks in some of the dungeons, right? Things like first boss of Pit of Sauron, second boss of Nexus Point, Ember Dawn, or the infamous Spellbreaker corridor, right? All of these are just much tougher to heal without the additional throughput and without the ability to maybe coordinate your defensive uses or kicks better. And it's just much more comfortable to play with Herald in this current patch because of that additional healing power that will let me just, push health bars faster. So I will still continue to play Lightsmith, as I've said, when the stakes are lower, just to, practice the spec, because I still think it's very, 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 very good. But going forward, I feel more comfortable with Herald of the Sun. And yeah, that's it. I hope vocalizing my thoughts about this matter could help you make a more educated decision yourself. I do apologize if this video was a little bit chaotic at times. This is literally my first time recording something and posting it online in this, vocal format. I'll probably try to make more talking videos in the future. So yeah, stay tuned for that, I guess. I'll catch you guys around. See you next time. Take care, and bye.